And I'm sure that they'll continue to be volatile going forward. But as you look at the last few years, it's clear that there's been an underinvestment in the production side. And as you look at demand, it's continued to be robust. So from a market perspective, at the moment, the demand continues to be there, and we're looking to bring on supply. But we're going to have pricing from a capital markets perspective in line with that supply-demand aspect.
سأنتقل الآن إلى أعمالكم. إذا نظرنا إلى نتائج الربع الثاني، لأنه هي آخر أرقام لدينا، العمليات نمت عالميا تقريبا أكثر من الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية. وهنا أريد أن أسألك عن الأوتلوك لهذه العمليات خلال المرحلة القادمة، وخصوصا أنه البارحة كان هناك عقد لكم مع شركة LNG في الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية، وكأنه النشاط عاد من جديد. كيف تتوقع أن يكون نمو الأعمال، نمو أعمال الشركة خلال المرحلة القادمة في الربع الأخير من هذا العام والعام القادم، وخصوصا أنه في عندنا سيناريوهين مهمين؟ الأول وضع الاقتصاد في الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية، والثاني هو الارتفاع اللي عم نشوفه بأسعار النفط والغاز قليلا، يعني بالرغم أنه نحن ما نزال يعني أفضل بكثير من العام الماضي.
So I'll start with North America and really on the oilfield services side, which is the activity side of the business. And at the moment, we see that next year is going to be relatively flat to this year. Again, our customers are being very disciplined. Clearly, there's an opportunity for some pickup, but again, relatively flat. And we see the economy being resilient and also the consumers being resilient. So the outlook is flat. What we do see is the continued growth in LNG. And you mentioned the contract that we received and announced yesterday. And we really see LNG as not just being a transition fuel, but being a destination fuel. And there's a lot of opportunities with the abundance of natural gas within North America to be able to provide energy to the world. And so we're very bullish about the opportunities of LNG continuing to be constructive for a multi-year cycle. Internationally is growing the mid-teens this year. We're seeing good investment levels, and we think we'll continue to see double-digit next year as well from an activity perspective. Latin America, Middle East here in particular, you've heard some of the announcements. People understand that there's a demand and there's been underinvestment, and we need to be able to provide the supply. So internationally is where we've got a big focus, and in fact Baker Hughes, as you know well, is more focused on the international side and really on the production side. And so that's where we're spending a lot of our time.
كنت البارحة بالتأكيد موجود عندما تم الإعلان من قبل الرئيس المعين لكوب 28 أن هناك أكثر من 20 شركة في قطاع النفط والغاز سوف تعمل على ما يسمى بأجندة صفر انبعاثات بحلول 2050. هل بيكر هيوز هي جزء من هذه المجموعة؟ وبرأيك قديش كان مهم بالفعل عودة قطاع النفط والغاز وقطاع الطاقة كله بهذه القوة إلى محادثات التغيير المناخي، وكونه جزء اليوم هو من الحل بتحرك قوي؟
So we've had a net zero commitment since 2019, and in fact we were one of the first companies in the area. We announced a 50% reduction by 2030 and net zero for scope 1 and 2 by 2050. And we're well on our way. We've already decreased since our 2019 baseline by 28% emissions. And we are one of the parties involved in the commitment towards reducing emissions. And we think technology plays a key factor. As we look at COP28, we are one of the associate pathway partners from a technology standpoint. And the discussions are really coming down to, it's not the fuel source, it's about emissions. And how do we tackle emissions with the technologies of CCUS, hydrogen, clean integrated power solutions, looking at ammonia, looking at reduction of methane. And so Baker Hughes is very much partnering with the IOCs and the NOCs on enabling the technology that's required. And we've seen a good uptick in new energy orders this year. We've taken up our forecast to 600 to 700 million from what was 400 million. And I think it's nice to see the convening of the industry, and we need to be at the table. We need to be there because at the end of the day, energy matters to all, and you need the largest providers around the world at the table in the discussion.
نحن نلتقي تقريبا كل عام آخر تقريبا 10 سنوات، ودائما نقاشي معك هناك نقطتين تركز عليهما. الأول ال LNG الغاز المسال كونه جسر للانتقال إلى الطاقة النظيفة، والثاني أن عملية الانتقال سوف تكون عملية طويلة وبحاجة عمل للجميع. اليوم بيكر هيوز هي لاعب أساسي في الأمونيا والهيدروجين والLNG المسال. قديش تغير الناراتيف، تغير الحديث في العالم اليوم وفي القطاع سوف يكون في مصلحة أعمالكم، ويعني يكون في هناك بالفعل استفادة من التكنولوجيا وغيرها من الخدمات التي تقدمونها.
Our role in this is to be an enabler towards a lower carbon economy by providing the technologies, the tools and the equipment at scale so that it can be also competitive and reasonable from a financial perspective. We've long been convinced that natural gas and LNG is a key aspect as a fuel type and is actually a destination fuel. And we're seeing that now. And we're seeing a big ramp up in natural gas and LNG. And we see that as a multi-year cycle and really continuing for the next few decades, as it really is the easiest way to reduce emissions with available technology today. You just need to look at what's happened in the United States or in Europe. The way in which they've decreased their emissions is by going from coal to natural gas. So it's a known pathway that we can follow around the world. Then there's the introduction of new technologies. There's the application of hydrogen, ammonia. And we as a company are there, like we have been for LNG, to provide this capability going forward to enable a lower carbon economy.